Most of us look at the 1930s when we try to understand the Holocaust. But history isn't just a series of random accidents, it's a sequence. If we want to understand how a tragedy of that scale was even possible, we have to look at the foundation. We're talking about a structure built brick by brick, over 2,000 years. Just a quick note before we dive in. This is a historical look at how hatred was constructed by power and politics. It's not a judgment on modern people or anyone's faith today. It all started with a fundamental shift in the ancient world. Judaism had already been around for over 3,000 years, but in the first century, a new movement began within it. Eventually, we would come to know this as Christianity. Now, at first, it was a disagreement between neighbors over a central question: was Jesus the Messiah? But everything changed when that disagreement met political power. In the year 313, the Edict of Milan legalized Christianity, and by 380, it was the official state religion of the Roman Empire. It's important to remember, this shift was driven by emperors and institutions, not every individual believer. But once religious doctrine became state law, Judaism was legally labeled as the other. And that created a social friction that would last for centuries. As time went on, that social distance was written into the law. Under the Code of Justinian, Jewish communities were slowly stripped of their rights. Imagine not being allowed to own land. Imagine being banned from every professional guild, meaning you couldn't be a baker, a builder, or a tailor. This created a massive historical paradox. With almost every job closed to them, many were forced into moneylending, one of the only roles the state actually allowed them to have. It was a trap. It made them essential to the economy, but it also made them an easy target for resentment whenever a financial crisis hit. By the Middle Ages, that resentment started fueling dangerous myths. In 1144, a rumor surfaced in England called the blood libel. It was a completely hollow accusation, no evidence, no basis in law, but it spread like a virus. When the Black Death swept through Europe and people were terrified, the rumors evolved again. They claimed the wells were being poisoned. Even though the plague was taking everyone, the world wanted a scapegoat. What started as a whisper became a deeply ingrained pattern of suspicion. By the time we reached the modern era, this wasn't just an extremist belief anymore. It was a social habit. It was reinforced by centuries of laws, myths, and repetition. The Holocaust didn't just emerge out of nowhere in the 20th century. It was the final, horrific chapter of a story that had been written for over 2,000 years. I'm starting this series at these roots because if we don't understand how the foundation was laid, we'll never learn how to dismantle it. I'm starting with the origins of Judaism to show exactly why these lies were so effective. Subscribe to follow this timeline with me.